Okay. So, first we approve the minutes from the last meeting, June 22nd.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody have any corrections?
I got a hopeful correction, couple hopeful
All right,
corrections.
let's get a motion to approve the minutes.
Make motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Okay, then let's get corrections.
Yeah, on open session section, page 2. So I'm a little confused because it's also mentioned in new business. Maybe there's some stuff that needs to be removed there because under new business, Bruce didn't ask, and then there's something about the request was denied. It seems pretty strong words that we denied. I think what the president had come to was he decided that the trustee business needed to be done in a timely manner, and we weren't going to change the agenda for that reason. Not that flat out that the request was denied. I mean, people look at these things and it makes it sound like we've totally shut out Mr. Rio, so I don't think that was the case.
That was me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it wasn't on a new business, right? Wasn't that at the beginning of the meeting? So maybe that shouldn't even be mentioned. Because new business,
No, he started, that's when Steve
No,
announced it.
before you went into executive session, I just asked, could you bring the last couple of agenda items back up before
Right.
you go to it? And
So for
you
some reason,
said no.
this is mentioned in new business, that's all. That needs to be corrected. And we can bring this back up the next meeting if you want.
Well, that, in a timely
It's just the
fashion.
sequence in which it happened.
Yeah, so there's that issue, and then there's the bold print.
But that wasn't a request by any trustees.
No, it shouldn't have been in here, I don't think. And
That's just like,
then the bold print items, like, how do we control the narrative on the bold print items? Because it seems like some things are bold, but some things aren't. So
Well,
that's
agenda items are bold, and then motions are bold.
okay. I don't know. I'm just
The vote, excuse me, the vote is bold.
I'm not trying to. I'm thinking the trustees were all volunteers here, and some of the information here reflects, and I don't know, many of you guys probably didn't even have a chance to read it. I think it reflects kind of negative towards the trustees and what we're doing here. So I would like to have this redone and bring it up at the next meeting.
Okay, so,
I can get with you, or we can talk about it later, but
is it pertinent to have a comment from someone that isn't a trustee
I don't know.
outside of open session?
I don't know that.
Outside
I
of
need to look
public
at
comment.
Robert's rules, I'm
Shouldn't
not
be
sure.
put in, shouldn't be put
Yeah.
into the minutes,
yeah.
right?
Right.
I don't know that
If it's-
answer.
Anything that's in, public comment is public comment, and that should be part of the record.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
something that isn't public
I mean-
comment during public comment should not be part of the public
Okay.
record. That's how I would.
Yeah, you can make those corrections, and I'll put my hand up, sure.
So I'll make motion that we accept the minutes with those corrections.
But we already motioned on the table, right?
Well, that's
We
all
have
right,
a
he's
motion,
amending
but
it.
he
I'm
wants
amending
to.
it, I'm
Okay.
amending
Motion
it
for the-
to accept the
Yep.
the changes.
We have a second.
I'll second that again.
Okay, now we can go to the full motion on
Yeah.
vote on the minutes.
Any other comments? Motion to approve? All right, all in favor? Yes, against? I wasn't here. All right,
One
okay.
abstention.
5 with 1 abstention. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, financial report, Tanya.
All right. Gallons sold are up 5% year-to-date, leaving the metered revenues favorable, about $86,000. We did receive a big material order for service lines last week, so we should see that jobbing line get back to reality for the month of July. The variance in expenses does continue to grow. It's increased $15,000 over the month of June due to inflation. Capital spending is well underway. Mike will go into the details on projects. June ended with $3.1 million cash on hand. And we are looking for approval of the audit. We did email the full audit to everybody, but I do have copies of the management report for the board. If anybody's interested, it's a summary from the auditors.
Yeah, we got a copy in the packet.
Copy.
Email.
Email.
But the paper copy, we didn't want to make, you know.
Right, and I don't need, because I get it in email.
Okay.
There's one for everybody there. There's one for everybody there.
Was it in the packet?
It was emailed, but it wasn't in the paper or mail packet. Okay, so you have it electronically.
Yeah, the entire thing.
Yes, you have the entire audit electronically.
But was that was in our packet?
Yep.
So I had a question on that.
Yes.
I noticed that they were talking about estimates, and how difficult it can be to estimate certain things.
Yep,
So we're still, when we're budgeting, we're still using year-to-date last year divided by 12 to come up with monthly estimates, right?
we do with some, we don't with all.
So we have changed some of them.
We changed payroll, we changed revenues and benefits. It's based on,
Prior years that month.
Yes,
Yeah, so
correct.
we're looking at month to month.
Yep.
Because I know that is difficult to do estimates. And
Yep.
just dividing by 12 doesn't seem to make the best sense.
right, yeah,
No, I think the audit was good. They had nothing, they didn't find anything up to worry about.
Nope.
So that was good. I did have a question also on payroll.
yeah,
So I see that, we're at the halfway point, so this is through June.
yep.
And we're a little bit ahead on payroll.
We are, and that variance declined a little bit here this month, which we were expecting it to do. It's been high ever since the month of February.
But July is when it's gonna start seeing that tail back, or?
It's declined, I think, about $15,000. The variance declined $15,000 for the month of June. So, and it's gonna continue to decline as capital work continues.
That was mainly overrun because of the water main breaks. We had so much labor going into that. And now that we're jobbing and charging labor out to projects, we're chipping away at that.
That helps a little bit, yeah. And then we should start seeing more going into the capital as we spend more money out of this, and money gets transferred over to capital, right?
Yes.
So is there much that needs to be transferred at this point?
Nope.
Nope, so it's. we're
No,
up to
and
snuff.
water wasn't hit too hard last month because we had a lot of work in sewer.
Okay,
But they're pretty exclusive on water right now, so we should start.
okay, because it looks like if we keep on track, we're at a substantial increase for the year. We're gonna be over.
Oh.
That continues, right? This
Absolutely.
trend continues.
Mhm.
We could be substantially over for the year.
So we're
I don't
trying to
think-
keep, what, 800,000 cash on hand? What do you project us to be in December without the bond money, without the 2 million? Because right now, we're almost got 2 million cash on hand, right?
No, it's only one. We had a $2 million bond, there's one that got put into cash on hand. The other
one's in the bag.
Yeah, so we have
almost 3.2 million cash on hand.
3.2.
So if you take away that bond, there'd be, instead of 3.1, there'd be 2.1 right now.
2.1,
Still in pretty
but
good
our
position.
goal is 800,000.
600.
600.
Yeah, that's kind of the
So
threshold.
we're good, right?
We're in really good shape
Yeah,
that
if you
way,
look, if you look at the every month we put the graph
Yeah.
in there, cash on hand, here's the line that we need to maintain
but I
for.
would want to know.
We
because
start
I know-
bumping up against that line, that's when we need to
Okay, yeah.
look at rate increases.
Well, we did look at when we were doing the budgeting, we were looking at expecting some increases, and we also factored into our budget some pay increases. COLA and also something else, if you remember it. So I would hope to see us stay within budget after having those two fairly major increases in our
I
salary.
think that variance in payroll is gonna continue to decline. I don't think the overall variance in expenses is going to, but payroll will.
Payroll, we should start.
Payroll will let grow,
Very good.
absolutely, yes.
Just want to, keep an eye on that for the second half.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Could we have a motion for the audit, approval of the audit?
I make a motion that we accept the final audit for 2021.
Okay. Second, Kevin. Any other comments on the audit? All in favor? Opposed? Okay, that's 6-0. All right. Bob, did you ask about the bills?
I'd like to ratify the payment of bills, thank you.
Okay.
Second that.
Okay. Any other, you've got everything answered, right, Bob? Anybody else have any other questions?
I'm good, yeah.
Just real quick, and this has, kind of goes with this, what's on the list, it's like, do we have a significant increase in chemical costs for the
We do, we
treatment
got
plant?
one shipment of Aqua Aid, which is we usually typically get that about once every 9 months. That is a very pricey chemical.
Anyway, but what was the increase?
The price increase?
Yeah, was there a significant increase on chemicals?
It has been increasing. I do have it, but not with me, the increase on each one.
And do we shop that regularly, or do
We
we
do.
stay with the same
We use-
person?
We've kind of changed a bit how the chemical goes. One thing Chris has done is kind of broken up the chemicals, and he's been negotiating with vendors instead of doing the carte blanche bid
Okay, yeah.
for all the chemicals, or being part of a regional bid, which actually ends up
Sometimes
costing
it doesn't
more.
end up well, the
It
regional
doesn't.
bid, they get complacent sometimes, I think they've done it.
Chris has really been on top of that, negotiating with the vendors to get the best price possible. But like Tanya alluded to, a lot of them, they're broken up individually depending on who supplies the chemical. I can get you a report of that next month if you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay. All in favor? Okay. All right, public comment.
You gonna ratify the payment of bills?
We just did.
Oh, you did?
Oh.
The only comment I had sent you all.
Can you, for the record, your name, address, all
Yeah.
that?
Okay, Bruce Ryu, 85 Mary Carroll Street in Auburn. I sent you all a request to answer some of the questions that I had at the last meeting. And I did get a reply from Deanna and from Steve saying that the bylaws tell you how to make requests. So I sent a request for one question to Steve, and here it is. At last week's planning board meeting, Chairman Evan Sear announced that the land in the watershed is now controlled and managed by the city of Auburn, and the Auburn Water District only manages affairs of the water. So, according to the bylaws, why has the Auburn Water District relinquished to the city of Auburn its control over the zoning, the septic changes, and development protocols in the watershed that were designed to protect Lake Auburn and maintain the waiver? So Evan Sear said, basically, the city of Auburn now controls the land around the water except for what is owned by the Lake Auburn Watershed Protection Commission. That's now controlled by the city of Auburn, and the Auburn Water District controls everything that has to do with the water. And that is it's different from what your bylaws and the rules for the trustees are. So when did that change and why?
I don't agree with that.
I don't think that.
I don't think that's happened, and so that's the answer.
If he said that, I don't think that's.
Evan said it at the
Well,
public, at the
Then that's,
planning
I
board.
would say, then Evan, you would want to get more clarification from Evan.
Yeah. They are.
But we have not voted for anything. If you want, I mean, we have stuck to the bylaws for the protection of Lake Auburn, and we've stuck to the bylaws for the Auburn Water District. That's what we do. And that's, all of our stuff that we've done is on public record. We do a video every month. The minutes are approved, we go through them, so.
I think that's factually
That's it.
incorrect.
Yeah. I don't know what he's referring to, but we certainly don't feel like we've relinquished control over our responsibilities. That's
He's
the-
also chairman of the Lake Auburn Watershed Protection Commission, and that's what he said. you
Yeah.
know.
Okay,
Okay,
so, that's it.
You may want to ask him.
I will say that we had about a year ago, we had our attorney here and had numerous meetings explaining the roles and how that all works, the interaction between us and the commission and how it all works. And our understanding is not that legally. You know, if he said something, he has not read protocol as to whose responsibility is what.
Again, so, that's it. We've got a 4:15 appointment we've got to call somebody at 4:15 for the executive session, so I don't think there's any other open session, so I'm going to close open session, or public comment. And then we need a motion to move into executive session.
A motion, we move into executive sessions in accordance with 1 MRSA 4056A to discuss personnel matter.
A second? All in favor? All right, executive session. All right.
You gonna
Thank
let us
you.
know when it's done?
We've got 3 in a row.
Executive session, in
Well-
accordance with one MRSA.
We're out of, officially, hold on, we're officially out of executive session.
Cameras
So
on.
we're, yeah. Now we got a motion to, we have to change the reason that we're going into executive session
Right,
to advice from counsel.
yeah.
Right. So
And that's what I
let's,
was doing.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's it. I'll make a motion to, in accordance with
But
one.
not that.
Right.
It's not a specific.
So it isn't this. So in accordance with, to discuss consultation with counsel,
Yeah, advice from counsel,
advice from counsel.
okay? Second?
Yeah.
Yep. All in favor? All right. So
Okay,
we
you're
already
on.
did 5 and 6. We already did 5 and 6.
6.
Well, we did 5, 6 is not necessary.
Right.
Nor was 7.
No was 7. So that's what you get, when you get out, declare us out.
Are we out? We're out of executive session. So 5 and 6 became 1. It was the advice from counsel. So 7 is, there is no action. And now we're going to 8. We're going to go back into executive session.
And I make a motion that we go into executive session in accordance with 1 MSRA 4056E to discuss a legal matter.
Second.
All in favor?
A couple of
All right,
minutes
you're on.
missing, I can finish the meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have 4.
As long as we have a quorum, I can finish.
All right. All right.
Executive session.
Activity report.
We are out of executive session. No follow-up, so 9 is done. Activity report, Mr. Broadman.
All right, your activity reports. We did have, not in the project update, but more of an activity thing. Again, we had a lot of water main breaks over the winter. We have had a couple of issues where Railroad Ave was one where we started to develop a cave-in in the road further up from where the leak was, but the cave-in was a result of the leak. So just little things that we're catching up on. Nothing really stands out in the activity report. We're still flushing hydrants. We should be wrapped up with that real soon. We are getting a lot of requests from developers and development. New customers is up from last year and up from the year before, so we're getting lots of new customers, which is great. That's always good. Tanya's reporting the sales are up, so that's another sign of the new customers. So that's pretty much it, unless anybody had any questions on the activity report. Project update, so we have finished the water main replacement on Grove Street. We're going to be wrapping up the replacement on Vernon tomorrow. We're going to start on Burns after that. Burns will go pretty quick. Willow will go pretty quick, that'll be after that. And then we're going to be out on Hotel Road doing some water main work out there after that.
Whereabouts on Hotel Road?
So we're going to be eliminating a main basically from Merrill Road back to Manley Road. There was a new water main put down the shoulder of the road there about 15 years ago, and the old main was left on the other side, and the services from that other side were never tied over. We left the old main there. So we're going to tie the services over. I think there's 19 services, and then we can abandon that main. It'll be about 3,000 feet. The old cast iron pipe we can wipe out pretty quick. So that's the project stuff. The Parks Connection is further down the agenda. So that's what I have.
Thank you. Okay, old business. Review of the bylaws for COLA.
Yep, just a quick update on that. Review of the bylaws for the protection of Lake Auburn. They're going to be on hold because of the pending litigation.
Okay.
Otherwise, I would encourage every trustee to look at the latest revision. We'll make sure Sid has a copy of that. Look at the comments from staff and look at the comments from the attorney that helped us all along doing that. So it'll be fresh in our mind when we can continue that process.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that I really appreciate what the committee has been doing.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work for
Yeah.
like 2 years, and it's unfortunate, but we are put in a predicament where we can't debate
That's right.
stakeholders' comments
Yeah.
without causing a problem with this litigation, so. I
And
think-
special thanks to Jason and
Yeah,
Dan.
special thanks to Jason.
Because these guys have worked really hard and many, many meetings. I don't even want to add them all up.
And it's really been an uphill battle that keeps, it's really, we're almost seeing the finish line, but I don't think we can see it right away.
No.
Not until we can get past it so we can talk about it openly.
Am I safe in assuming the copy that's in the packet is the latest version of draft bylaw?
Should be this.
Okay, can we do this? Can you
Yeah.
send, since we,
Yeah,
we-
I'll get that.
whatever we are the most current,
Right.
let's get that out to the trustees and staff.
Absolutely.
I think this is it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's in the packet.
great.
So it gives us a start to pick up when we can.
When we can, right.
Special
Okay,
thanks to you guys.
yeah, really good work. Goff Street,
Yep, just a quick update on that. The property we're purchasing at next door, 21 South Goff Street. The last time we met, there was an agreement signed for them to vacate the property by July 11th. I got a call from them the week prior to that, July 7th, on a Thursday. They had a moving company there to move their stuff out. Given the condition of the property, the movers left, so they had no way to move their stuff out. So they were asking for 2 weeks in order to vacate the property, which would take us pretty much till the last week in July, next week. Given that new development, I did contact Attorney Jim Pross. We did file with the Lewiston court system a notice of eviction. I got a notice back just today that that court date is set for August 10th. I did send a copy to the tenants and they will be served a notice. However, we did let them know that as long as they have vacated the property prior to the court case coming up, that we would dismiss the eviction notice. So I did get a call from the tenants Monday that they said they are going to be out of that building by this Saturday at the latest, and they hope to be out a couple days before. So the finish line keeps moving a little bit, but I do think we have everything in place to take possession of that property. It's been a long process, but they have been very, very cooperative and very nice, and they are doing their best to get out of that building. So I think the finish line is in front of us. And that's it.
all right. Communication plan update. They're still finishing the, there's a few details left on the website. They're gonna give us a full breakdown next month, when they're gonna have everything done and they'll have everything ready to go for turnover and all that stuff. They weren't ready, so they're continuing and finishing things.
So they're beyond their contract.
Yeah.
So how are we knowing that, is there any, can there be something that determines that they're still under some sort of contract?
Well, they
right
said,
now?
they gave us an
extension?
An extension.
So there's an extension
Yes.
form out there? And the other thing I would ask too is, I had asked before, and I really want to see a detailed bill of the 5,000 that
Yeah.
was expended.
They're gonna come in.
Where it was expended exactly, and I don't care about the 5,000 for their consulting fees, we know that's their work, and it'd be nice if we had an itemized bill of that, but mostly that 5,000
Yeah.
expense money,
Yep,
detailed,
you
okay.
got it.
There is an issue I'd like to just bring up publicly and just clear the air if I can. There was an email we received from a member of the public who questioned, there were 3 domain names that were purchased: protectlakeauburn.org, protectlakeauburn.edu, and protectlakeauburn.net. They were purchased, and then they were basically frozen and locked. This came to our attention. I know that we've had some correspondence, as Steve mentioned, there was no water district funds used for that purpose. I don't know who did this, but before this goes any further, I just want to make sure the air is cleared that that had nothing to do with us or our consultant. I haven't heard that, but I just want to make sure that it's known that we were not any part or parcel of anything involved in that process, because I don't think this is going to go away, and I just want to make sure that it's known.
We had nothing to do with that.
No.
And I hope that that detailed bill would make sure that would be their signed document saying this is what we did with your money.
That's correct.
And it shouldn't be there, and if we find out later that something happened that we didn't know of, that could be a different matter that we could take up later, but as long as they didn't work on our behalf in any way, shape, or form like that, that's what we need to make sure.
Okay, salary survey.
Yep, just an update on that. Working with Maine HR Consulting, we have now reviewed all of the job descriptions. Those have been tweaked a little bit. We are going to be printing them and meeting with all the employees regarding that. There weren't many changes made to them. They were in pretty good shape anyway, but there are just some minor changes. So now they're moving into the, into looking at the pay grid phase of that evaluation. This particular consultant is used by a lot of different organizations in Maine, water utilities. So they have a pretty good handle on what other utilities are making, and I think they have a pretty good database to move ahead with that. So that's where that process is.
Now, the information that we gave them, did that include the employee retention program that we approved in this current budget?
No, it did not, but I
It needs
will make her aware of that. That's a good point.
This is something we need to go ongoing, but I don't want them to look at what really, what the bare bones is and not the real, what we really did, because I think we did our employees good in 2022, so.
No, that's a good point. I'll make sure that that's part of the, part of that analysis. And that's it.
New business, cross connection.
All right, back in 2018, we had a sanitary survey, which is basically like a drinking water program, comes down and they shake the tires on our organization to make sure we're doing everything in accordance with their rules and regulations and federal EPA regulations that go through everything, all our policies and practices. At that time, they found that our cross-connection control program, which is how we regulate backflow preventers or check valves in customers' facilities, they found that that was outdated. So they had sent us the updated EPA language that's required in the cross-connection control program. We updated that. They reviewed it, they approved it, and we've had it on file. It's been on our website. Lo and behold, if you look at the last page, it was never adopted by the trustees. And we are in the process of putting a little disclaimer on our bills that reminds customers of when their backflow preventers are due for inspection. And it wouldn't be very good if they went to our website and found out we never adopted this plan. So we did email this out to everybody. It's kind of dry reading. This is nothing that we wrote ourselves. This is what we're required to implement as a water entity in our system. This is very consistent with what everybody else does. We're just looking to get the trustees' support and adopt this plan formally.
Yeah, Mike, long and dry.
Let's try.
Why do we need to approve this as opposed to any other initiative, any other?
Because this has big implications.
What makes this different?
This is different because we can shut customers off per this plan if they don't have compliant devices. It's kind of goes back to like a plumbing code thing. If they aren't up to code with this, we need to uphold that. And if our rules aren't in place that we can do that, then we're putting the public at threat. If you don't have a compliant device, you could be contaminating your neighbor's water, and that's out of our control. So we have to have this adopted, and it's our job to enforce it. And if we haven't adopted it and we're not enforcing it, then we're in violation.
And it'll be on the customer, unlike the
Management of the
overflow,
devices is on the customers to take
but if
care
they
of.
don't have one.
So our policy on enforcing devices, now all commercial customers have to have one, and their water's not on unless they have one. Older style devices are grandfathered in until they do plumbing, in which case the plumbing inspector for the city would enforce that they update their device when they get a plumbing permit.
Yep.
Residential homes, our policy is if we go in there and they don't have a backflow preventer, that if they're having us shut the water off, we will not turn it on until they put a dual check valve in, and that's per this program.
So we don't have to force them.
We don't go running around shutting people's water off because they're not in compliance.
It's only
But
gonna be, if
it's-
it gets shut off and then wants to get turned back on
Right.
again, that's our open the door to go in and inspect and make sure they have this.
Correct. Yep.
And any new, obviously, new construction.
And it's shut off per customer request, or if we have to shut it off?
Per customer request for, if they're doing plumbing work, like,
Yeah.
hey, we got a plumber coming, can you shut our water off? Oh, you don't have a device, before we turn that back on, make sure you're a plumber.
But if we shut
Gets
them
us
off
up
for
to code.
non-payment, we don't have
We
the right
don't,
to
no,
go
we
in
don't, we
there.
don't do it in that case.
All right, so it's one of those things. But they would have to pay for the device.
It's up
We
to
would
them to
not,
pay for that, yeah,
in all cases.
to pay for it and install it. Yeah.
Okay, and that's written somewhere in the policy?
That's in
that we
this
have?
policy, yeah.
Very good.
So what do you need from us?
A motion and a second to approve this, and we'll probably ask that, I don't know, as President, go ahead and sign.
This is the cross-connection control program.
Correct, the revision done in 2018.
I make a motion that we approve the cross-connection program from 2018, unfortunately, but
Okay? Second?
Second?
Okay? Any other questions?
And as part of that motion, you authorize Steve to sign the
Oh.
document.
that's a friendly amendment, you can make that.
Oh,
Make that amendment?
Friendly amendment.
Friendly amendment that Steve signed, okay,
Okay.
I'll second the friendly amendment. All in favor of the amendment?
yeah, everybody good? All in favor? Good.
All right, now back to the original.
Thank you all.
Now,
No, he just did the
We
right.
did, we did both.
too fast.
All right, we've got water quality updates then.
Yep, the lake is in really good shape right now. It's, latest readings are, just at a recent reading just before I sent this memo out, we got 12 meters of clarity, which is very, very good.
What was it last month?
It was a little under 10,
Yeah.
so
We
it's,
didn't get much rain until a couple days ago.
Yeah.
so, I mean, the clarity is, I mean, that's good.
See what happens
That's
now.
about as high a reading as we ever get on the lake, so it is good right now. But yeah, that rain is gonna affect things. You know, turbidity was averaging around a 0.3, which is again very good. As you know, it's dry out there. The lake elevation is a bit low, but it's not a concern for us at this time. Lake temperatures are following historic norms. I did want to update, I sent you all a memo about the accident we had out there.
Yes, how come that never hit the papers?
I can't explain that. We didn't go looking for the news media, but I was surprised because they usually find out about those things through
Police
scanners and
reports.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Seems though I saw in the paper,
No, there was nothing.
wasn't nothing in the paper, I saw it someplace. It was in the media, it was in the media.
Yeah, it sounds.
What's that?
Considered
Oh, is that
bodily contact?
you mean
They were in the
the
car when it went in.
car that went in?
Yeah, yeah, so
It was in the
anyway,
paper.
Oh, it was?
I saw it online.
you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, but not in the newspaper, maybe in the online section. or-
Maybe on a Monday?
I didn't see it in the newspaper,
they
because
closed
I don't
on
read the
Mondays?
newspaper.
Yeah.
but-
Monday, they only have it online edition.
Oh, right.
But I guess anyway, I did brief you all on that.
Maybe
but
that's what it was.
The bottom line is that incident was handled. Everyone responded as they should. We cleaned it up as we should. We were lucky that the prevailing weather that day, it was a prevailing wind that brought everything to the shore. And with the wind, that was a good condition for evaporating any petroleum products that might have escaped. We had a ton of absorbent pads out there. We had a boom system, an absorbent, what was the term I'm looking for? The ring.
The absorbent boom and then.
The EPA arrived, EPA arrived and approved all the work that was done.
The DEP did finally get there in the afternoon when basically
7 hours
everything was cleaned up, but they looked at it and said, yes, you did everything right, good job, and they left, so that was good. It was good to get a sign off from them. We did contact the drinking water program. We did shut down the plant as a precaution, but we did start it back up again because there really was, given the location, there was no real threat to the water plant.
Do we bill the insurance company for something?
Yes, we do. We got their insurance and we've consolidated all the bills and we are going to be pursuing that. We should get reimbursed for everything that we put into that, so.
Did you send us an email with all that information that I got? It
Yeah.
came from you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that. I remember there was there's a picture and there was an article. Yeah.
Steve, as a go-forward plan, at the next law pick meeting, I'm gonna make a recommendation that they drive around the lake and reevaluate the signage to make sure that there's enough. I don't know where exactly they went off, but if there wasn't enough of those chevrons, or if there wasn't a guardrail.
He went
that
off
could be
right
put
in
in.
between two of them.
Cause we,
There were chevrons.
They never turned the car.
okay.
Signs
But
were
they
developed
never
in this
do.
case.
They were intoxicated and they were driving very fast.
Okay.
It's, you know, right after.
Guardrail wouldn't help there.
So they got
No,
They're-
guardrail would have been
so they
nice.
got
So we
arrested.
could get a grant for that.
A guardrail would be nice.
Guardrails, more guardrails around the lake. So I'll bring that to the commission.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So they were arrested.
Well, it's pending the results of blood tests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of detail on that.
Okay. Cool. Excellent. Well, thank you for
One
that.
thing too, that our consumer confidence, just a FYI, our consumer confidence report is on the website. And we do have a few hard copies here if people would like to see them. That gives all of our testing results for the year. And again, that's something that's dictated that we have to put out there by the drinking water program, and that is available if you want to see it. Comes out July 1 of every year, comes out, yeah.
Like a zombie over there.
Okay.
That's it.
Open session, trustees.
Just one item, future agenda item, as mentioned in the minutes, a committee, to consider committee for alternatives to water sources to be on the agenda.
Okay.
Next agenda. And I'm definitely interested in doing that, and if anyone else might be interested in looking for alternative water sources and doing some of the groundwork, would love to work with Mike a little bit on that too. Maybe an hour a week, nothing more.
Okay. Any other trustees have anything they'd like to comment about? Okay. It's 5:28.
Look at that.
Good job, you're early.
Anybody, so, let's,
Motion to adjourn?
second, I second.
All in
All in
favor?
Okay. 5:29.
Very good.